Yo, what's going on there, YouTube? It's your boy, Marcus Levy here, the Angry Ranter for vlog number 66, Minimalism, day 16. Day 16 in the Angry Ranter Vlogging channel. What? I don't know where I got that from. It's got a little music playing in the background, video game I got running. So, yesterday, we got rid of a crazy number of cadet badges. And there are still a few left to go, but there's also a few other things from past work and stuff. And for people who know me and know me about that history, you guys are about to relive some eras in my life as well. So first off, I've got a couple of these Chief Petty Officer Second Class badges. Now, these are not your standard badges. As you can see, for example, by this Able Seaman badge, there's a huge difference. They're white and black instead of black and white. This means they are the summer camp badges. And there was a period in time when we were required to stitch these on to our gun shirts to be able to wear them at camp. You'd use white thread and all of that stuff. But thankfully, they never cared that I didn't do it. Also, I never achieved the rank of chief at camp despite arguing about it. This one, the lighthouse with the maple leaf. This is the GT badge. So when you finish general training, the 2-week course, which I did 10 years ago in 2009, you get one of these badges, and it goes on the uniform to be like, hey, look at me, I completed a year of camp. Which, you know what? Considering the fact that I know guys like, not as like throwing any shade in his direction, but Dowda did cadets for about 6 or 7 years, and he never went to camp once. There are people who do not go to camp during their time in cadets. There are people who don't get to go to camp every single year. And so I got lucky. I got to go 6 times in a row. Did 2 years of staff. Even though I was subjugated into the laundry department, there was nothing wrong with that. I absolutely enjoyed my time there. You know, I think it was probably the best fit. The other HMCS Quadra epaulet, I was wondering where the hell this went to from yesterday. Gone. Now, the badge that I was talking about yesterday, the Petty Officer Second Class badge that would have to get sewn onto your uniform, right up around here, you know. Like, look at how massive this thing is. Like, this is my hand compared to the badge. Like, it's huge. And now, imagine the fact that this badge hasn't changed in size, but I have. So imagine a slightly smaller-handed me into, like, when I was 16, having to stitch this shit on. I broke 3 needles sewing this onto my uniform. 3 needles! 7 years ago. I can't believe it. Next, Able Seaman badge. 2 chevrons. Now you guys remember the Petty Officer First Class epaulet from yesterday that had just a little crown on it? Here's the crown. Yeah, so this one wouldn't go up here. It'd be the first badge that goes down on your wrist. So right about where my watch is would be where it would be on the left arm, is where this would be sewn onto your uniform. Because Petty Officer First Class, Chief Petty Officer Second Class, and Chief Petty Officer First Class go down on the wrist right by the cuff. And definitely a huge change from having to sew this one on to sewing this one on. This one's a higher rank than this. And look at the size difference. This took me no time at all. Broke 3 needles on this. And then, of course, my first aid badge for completing first aid course. Now it's time to get into some of the like the work material. So one of the first restaurants I worked at was Chances Are as a dishwasher, and this is the shirt that I got from there, and this is the toque that I got from there because I started in September. Let's see. My first job ever that wasn't camp was the illustrious Weed Man. Yeah, 3 weeks. Horrible company. Couldn't stand it. Always worked with the worst kids when we were going door to door. And if you want a way to really ruin a high school kid's psyche when you're in grade 12, be a door knocker. Kids out there, be a door knocker. Go door to door, knocking on doors and getting screamed at just because the company you represent, which had a D- Better Business Bureau rating, by the way, but that you're only getting yelled at because of, in essence, the company you represent, and you're 17 and you have no idea what the hell this means and why people are just being mean to you and yelling at you, slamming the door in your face, swearing at you. Oh my God, no. I still scowl when I see a Weedman vehicle pass, and I haven't worked for them in 6 years. Next one is Dunn's. When I worked for Dunn's, oh my God, this particular restaurant, the Dunn's that I worked at, no longer exists. It's now a completely different restaurant, and so there's really nothing much to worry about, or much really to talk about. I worked at that restaurant. It's still my longest held job, 14 months. My current job I've been at for 11 months now, and I don't see myself leaving it before, probably the 2 to 5 year mark. So I mean, it will eventually become my longest job once I start moving up in the ranks and stuff like that. But that job was my longest one, and working in restaurants, and it was an interesting experience. People who know me, you know the stories. I can't really go into them here. Now, what's this one? Ah, yes. And it still smells disgusting like when I worked there. Chibo. Via Chibo. With the shirt and the hat. And I think I was one of the last ones with a Chibo apron. Yeah, I was. Because then they stopped making these. And 6 months as a dishwasher at that restaurant. And the biggest problem I had was they didn't take into account the fact that I had experience working other positions other than a dishwasher, and I was trying to help them out by saying, listen, if you did this, that, and the other, you could improve productivity, and they would just be like, shut the fuck up, you're a dishwasher. And that was one of the reasons that I really started dragging their name through the mud while I worked there. And you know what? No regrets in leaving. Not a great place to work for me. But guys, thank you for watching today's episode of the Angry Ranter Vlogs. Don't hesitate to like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Check out the Instagram, the Angry Ranter 2019. Check out the Facebook page at the facebook.com/theangryranter2019. Leave _Marcus on Twitter. And of course, new episode of the Angry Ranter Show coming up on Tuesday with Brandon. But check out the previous episodes on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify in order to catch yourself up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.